Goddamn audio. Dude, we got this good old audio right now. We should have sweet audio right now.
Can y'all hear it?
Y'all let me know if we got audio.
Yeah.
Family, we gonna have a real discussion today. And I'm gonna let Jamal explain what the discussion is about. But we're gonna have a real discussion. So go ahead and get into it. I think we should be having audio now.
Yeah.
Go ahead and talk to us.
All right.
Okay, we got
They
audio.
They got audio?
Yeah.
All right, so y'all think I'm weird right now. I'm stretching my torso. I'm trying to be 6'2". But no, what we're talking about today is the benefits and the pros and cons of being a stepdad. 2023, I was telling Javon the other day, I don't think that men should really date women with children because the dynamics of being a stepdad has changed since the last 2 decades, where a lot of women, when it comes to being a stepdad, a man has limited range on how he can discipline the child. Me personally, growing up, I grew up with my biological father and my stepdad. My stepdad had free range of motion. My mom never said, "That ain't your kid. If you got a problem with him, talk to me." She allowed him to discipline us the way that he would discipline his own kids as if he skis us out. My dad, my biological father, told my stepdad, if that boy get out of line, treat him like you would treat your own children. So a man would treat you the way that he would treat his kids because he loves his kids. He wants the best for his kids. He wants kids to be the better version of what they should be. So in 2023, when you hear women say, "Oh, don't talk to my kid like that. Don't do my kid like that," or whatever. If you got a problem, you come to me. It creates a bigger issue when it comes to actually disciplining the kids. And now you see how some of these kids act out here, even though they have a stepfather, they act like they ain't got one. They tell a stepdad, "You ain't my daddy," because they heard the mom say it.
So question, this whole stepdad discussion, where did that discussion come from? I know I've seen it on social media a lot. I'm asking you, where do you think it came from? Like, as opposed, because we know we live in a world where I think it's almost like 75% of the mothers are single mothers now.
Yeah.
So we know we live in a world where you're highly likely to meet a woman that has a child.
Right.
And I'm gonna speak on it after you. Where do you think this whole notion of don't be a stepdad, be a stepdad, why is this a discussion now?
Because you start hearing women saying, "I don't need a man, I can do it myself. I can do it on my own." You start hearing a lot of women speaking out to men whenever they would talk to kids about things that they don't want their kids to hear. They feel their kids are too young to even discuss at an early age. And, as men, we're going to do things differently than women because...
Real quick, this link right here, if you want to come in and join the discussion after we get it going, you could come in. I see my man Mike up here. I know he had a stepfather, so he might want to add a little something to discussion. I never heard anybody talk about stepfathers until what's my man name? Dennis Sperling.
Yeah.
Dennis Sperling went on this kick where he was saying being a stepfather is weak. And I get it. And the whole aspect of it is like saying when a lion comes in, he killed the other babies.
Yeah.
And this is in the animal community. I get it. Now, I saw this lady today on Facebook. She came out. She said being a stepdad is weak. Now, we know a woman putting her mouth on this subject. She's just doing it to go viral.
Yeah.
But I realized when I started hearing the stepdad movement, stepdads are weak, is when the kind of passport brother, high value man thing became a real thing. Let me turn my mic down a little bit. It was almost like, and this is my personal opinion on it. And let's just be real. Black women are so out of place and be acting so fucked up right now that men literally are fucking sick of our black women. I'm sick of them too, by the way we get down. But I think when men were mad at black women, it's like saying a stepdad is a simp or weak. It really makes a woman who has kids feel like, I ain't gonna never have a man.
Yeah.
And I think that's why they threw that dart. Because otherwise, the guy that really created it, he has a child by a woman in another country.
Right.
So his child is gonna be a product of a stepdad.
Right. So I think one of the worst things we can do is use analogies like a lion.
Yeah.
because we're primates.
Mm-hmm.
We're part of the great apes.
Yeah.
And something that some people may not know if you ever study biology and you study animals. In the animal kingdom, we're closer to apes, gorillas, monkeys, and chimpanzees than any other group.
Yeah.
Chimpanzees, monkeys, and gorillas, they will kill off the father and take over that father's harem.
Yeah.
And they will raise the kids like their own. Teach them how to hunt, teach them how to, you know what I'm saying, like build things or whatever, right? But then once the child becomes an adult, he will kill him then because that monkey, that child is going to try to take over the harem because it doesn't matter if it's their mama or not. But that monkey is going to try to take over their harem because he's going to become the king of the monkeys.
So let me understand this because I think I heard this right. I wanted this to have something to do with numbers. Like monkeys ain't as strong as a lion. Like a lion, like fuck them kids. I'm gonna get rid of them motherfuckers. Yeah. And whereas a monkey is like, nah, we gonna kill the daddy and keep the kids because we need the numbers.
We need the numbers.
Okay.
We need the numbers. So why would you kill out the offspring?
Yeah.
Now let's look at the benefits. Like I had a stepdad. My stepdad, if anything, he calls me for anything, he needs anything, I'm gonna do it. Why? Because this man gave me a better life than I would have had if my mom would have raised us by herself.
So you're saying that your stepdad can benefit from raising you?
Yeah, I'm right.
Because the whole thing that these brothers are saying is that a stepdad, you can't benefit from being a stepdad. Now, I recall when I met my wife, she had 2 sons, and my homeboy told me this. He was a stepdad, and he told me this. He said, "It ain't no love in being no stepdad." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "If you raise them to be good kids, they could say, well, it's in their DNA. But if they be a fuck up, you're going to get blamed for it." So that was basically what he was saying. So we used to always joke, like, what if your stepsons came out gay? And I would be like, well, they ain't my motherfucking kids. And then he would be like, but you were there.
Yeah.
So that's when I was like, damn, I understood there was well, I wasn't like I was worried about them coming out gay, but it made me think like, damn, if these little niggas turn out fucked up, people gonna say I wasn't a good influence on them.
Nah,
you see what I'm saying?
And see, I separate that whole ideal of sexuality from children.
Yeah,
like we put too much emphasis on a child's sexuality based on that the father is there, the father isn't there. Now, statistically speaking, we do have more children that come out that are gay that come from single parent households than we do from the cohabitating households. But that's another subject because we got to talk about
the motherfucker go to jail.
Right. Because we got to talk about outside influences.
Yeah.
You can raise your kid to be loyal, honest, trustworthy, and all these things. Go out there around their friends, and their friends influence them to do other stuff that are atypical for what you raised them to do.
So let me break down a little situation I went through. Being a stepfather, I'll never forget this. I didn't have a father growing up, so when I first married my wife, and because my wife was different, we went at it different. I was like, well, I'm gonna date your kids too.
Yeah.
So I picked her kids up from school. I had them with me. I had a key to her house. I would bring them home, show them how I wanted them to live.
Yeah.
Like, yo, you're gonna do your homework first. You're gonna get your little snack. You're going to clean your room. And I started showing them how to cook, clean, and wash clothes up front.
Right.
And then when we got married and I moved in, it was a situation where I've always liked kids and they were boys.
Yeah.
So it wasn't nothing for me. But I'll never forget, they would call me daddy.
Right.
And that word just had a ring to me that I didn't understand. And I can remember saying, don't call me daddy. Yeah. And I remember my wife was like, why wouldn't you let him call you daddy? And I was honest. I was like, I just don't, that word has such a funny meaning. I don't feel right being called daddy, right? So check this out. Then when we got on further in life and they started playing football and basketball and baseball and they were excelling, it would be situations where they'd be on the field and one of them get a touchdown or a sack and I'd be like, yeah, there you go, there you go, there you go. Yeah. And then the guy be like, you know how men are, we prideful on the field. A guy be like, what number your son? I'd be like, number 19. And he'd be like, yeah, boy, he kicking ass. I'd be like, yeah. Then we'll have a discussion. Well, what number your son? He'd be like, number 25. And I'd be like, oh shit, he the running back. And we had this big ass good discussion about how our kids are balling. And then he'd come off the field, take off his helmet. He'd be like, how I do, Jay? And then the guy kind of look at me like, that ain't your motherfucking son, nigga. That's the only time I think I felt those two examples.
Yeah.
When I wanted them to call me dad, when I was super proud of them, and it was that time had passed.
You want the acknowledgement that, hey, I did raise them.
Yeah,
you want that feeling, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So same thing growing up. My stepdad, he attended my basketball. Look, my mom wasn't allowed to attend football games, basketball games. The only thing she could come to was track meets. That's it. Because my mom, if we get hit, my mom coming out on the field. Mm-hmm. If I get fouled, my mom coming out on the basketball court.
Yeah.
Or whatever. So you ain't coming to none of our contact sports.
Mm-hmm.
But my stepdad was there.
Yeah.
He was always there, right?
Yeah.
And even though we didn't call him dad, I always call him by his first name.
Yeah.
I go up there and I'm like, you see what I did, Bill? He's like, yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah.
Because he didn't seek validation because he knew what he did. See, I think now in today's society, we have been kind of like conditioned to seek validation. And our accomplishments and our achievements. For anything. Back then, they didn't get validation. They didn't need it because they were raised that you know what you did.
So let me ask you something. So you being a young man, your father died when you was like 10, 11 years old, right?
Yeah, when I was 12.
Did you feel any obligation at any point or any longing to call your stepdad dad, or you just was it was just like first name? This shit never mattered to you.
It never really mattered. But to be honest with you, I never called my own biological father dad.
What you call him?
Odell.
By his name?
By his name.
Is that because he wasn't around when
it
you
was
was
just
little?
I was just used to not saying the word dad.
See, that's what I was saying about. I had one friend with a daddy growing up.
Yeah.
And I didn't hear the word daddy, father, pop, none of that shit growing up. Yeah. So when they would call me daddy, it made me feel good.
Yeah.
But it made me feel funny.
Yeah.
So this is when they like 5 and maybe 8. Once I told them, don't call me dad, call me Javon or Jay. When they get 12, 13, and I didn't fucking raise them and did this and took them to practice and did this, now I'm starting to want to be called dad.
Yeah.
And I can't go back
and
change it.
And see, my thing was because I had older brothers and sisters, I had siblings, right? They were older than me. And I just followed them.
Mm-hmm.
So my brother was like 6.
Make sure you don't hit them buttons right there.
My brother was on.
Okay, you back. You
All
should
right.
be back in the game.
Okay. So growing up, I had siblings. My older brother was 6. My sister was 4. I was 1. Now, my mom married the man that she was dating. She dated in high school, and she came back, and he was like, woman, I want to marry you. My mom did not want to marry this man, Javon.
Mm-hmm.
She told this man, I don't want to marry you. He said, why not?
Oh, they're saying the sound is out. I saw that sign come up, but it should be back now.
Is it back now?
Because I know we on a delay. I'm good. It's back. There you go.
All right.
So go ahead, kind of backtrack what you were saying.
So my older brothers and sisters, my older brother and sister, he was 6. My sister was 4 when they got married. I was 1. Mom,
so you just followed their lead,
right? Because my mom, when she married, when they met, they used to date in high school.
Yeah.
When she came back, he always said, she ever come back to this town, I'm gonna marry her. He saw her out walking. They started dating. When he asked her to marry him, she said, I don't want to marry you. He said, why not? She said, I got 3 kids. You don't got none. That's not fair. I'm taking away your life. He said, I don't care about how many kids you got, woman. I love you and I love these kids.
So he never had any kids?
He had kids later.
Later.
My younger brother and sister.
By your mom?
By my mom.
Oh, okay. I thought he had sacrificed him. Okay. I see where your mom was. That's a good woman. She was just basically like, I got 3 kids. You don't got none. she wasn't sure if she wanted to have more at the time, or she just was like, look, nigga, don't ruin your life behind me.
Right.
Now, let me give you a perfect example. Like, say, for example, with me, I'm kind of like your dad. When I met my wife, I knew I loved her. I knew she was the one. Like, I knew she was the one.
Yeah.
Her having kids wasn't a thing that was going to stop me, because I know the type of guy I am. Meaning this, I actually tell my sons, who are a product of a stepfather,
yeah,
don't date a woman with children. I say that. Now, I don't think because it's weak. I don't think it's because you're a simp. I just feel like you. We live in such a different era that I don't think my sons would know how to navigate dealing with another man in that situation.
And
I'm just saying, I just don't feel like, and like I said, with the new age of girls and them being in their 20s, I give you a perfect example of what I mean. When my wife's baby daddy got out of jail, he was in prison, right?
Yeah.
So naturally, you know, my wife wanted to take up for me, long story short, without bad mouthing her, because it's not bad mouth. She wanted to put the nigga on child support, right?
Yeah.
Because she was like, okay, I'm married, I got a husband. This man been locked up 7-8 years. You've been taking care of his kids like 3-4 years. And when he got out, she was like, I'm gonna put him on child support. I was like, don't put him on child support.
Yeah.
And she was like, why? I was like, the nigga just got out of jail. Like,
like he got no money. What, you gonna send him right back to jail?
No, the point is, why put
yeah.
that pressure on that man? Get that man an opportunity to be a father.
Yeah.
And see, I'm the type of nigga that grew up old school, although I didn't have a father. I didn't want anything to inhibit or prohibit their father from being in their life.
Right.
So say, for example, she was like, put him on child support. I was like, nah, we're gonna give him a chance to get himself together. I'm the type of nigga, I'm here anyway.
Yeah.
I would have to pay the bills anyway. I take care of them anyway. However, I wasn't the type of dad that bought all this extra shit. We gave them $400 a year for school clothes shopping,
right?
$300 for Christmas, and that's it. Ain't no, because that's and she let me rock like that. But long story short, we didn't put him on child support, and I actually kind of fostered their relationship. Like, I took them to see him in Greensboro, which is about an hour away, every other weekend, and I would give them bread.
Yeah.
So they can have money to do something, because they would take their video game the first weekend. I said, what y'all do? Well, we play the video game. You know, the youngest one, he want to tell everything. We play the video game. He ain't even spend no time with us. So I'm like, okay, my man ain't got no bread.
Yeah.
He might not be athletic or whatever.
Right.
So I said, look, I'm going to get y'all a football, basketball. Y'all can't take your video game when you go see your daddy. So I was more mature than he was, and I knew his children better than him. So I would give him $100 and drop them off for the weekend, and then I would go pick them up.
Yeah.
And me and him developed a relationship so much so the first time that he wanted to discipline his son, he called me and asked me, hey, big dog, Davion is out of line. You know what I'm saying? I think I need to whoop his ass. What you think? I said, hell yeah, that's your son. Whoop his ass. But that's what I mean about the type of nigga I am. I know I won't go have no problems with no man,
right?
Because I'm reasonable.
Men typically don't. Whenever everything is, when you see a man having issues with a woman when she's with another man and his kids are involved or whatever, it's either one, that man still wants her, or two, it's something that has happened between those two men.
Yeah,
that, you know what I'm saying, they never sat down and was able to discuss whatever it is that they got going on. But remember, I told you, what was it? About 4 years ago. Matter of fact, I called my parents that day, right?
Yeah.
And I told you remind me of my stepdad. Like, a lot of y'all don't know. If y'all don't know, I told Javon 4 years ago, y'all don't know, of course. I said, you remind me of my stepdad.
Yeah.
It's always those dark-skinned Negroes, man. But he reminded me of my stepdad because of the dynamic of his relationship with Chris. It was the same way of the dynamic with my relationship with my stepdad, that Davion and Daywan had with you. And I saw it, and I could see it in Davion and Daywan, how they start to turn out, how they was developing, and how they became. And you look at them now, both of them. Do either of them live here anymore?
No, they got a place together.
Right.
They've been living
you see what I'm saying, right? So me and my older brother, like, he raised us. He raised us to understand, you know what I'm saying, like the responsibilities of how to be a man.
Yeah.
You get a lot of these young boys now, they still at home with their mamas. They don't know what to do.
You know what? It's funny because, man, you know, like I said, times have changed so much. There's a bad, hateful taste in brothers' mouth when they don't want a black boy to have a father. You see what I'm saying? That's almost like I said, the whole idea of being a stepdad is weak. Being a stepdad is simple. It came from men that had baby mamas and they never wanted to see that woman happy again.
Right.
I know guys in college or niggas that I grew up with that would say shit like, she better not have no other niggas around my kids.
Yeah.
And I would be like, so cause you had a baby by her, you don't want her to ever have another relationship?
Right.
You don't want her to ever be happy. You don't want her to get married. You don't want a man to come in and do what you're not there doing or what y'all couldn't do together. I ain't saying a nigga got to take care of your kid or raise your kid because you can be there, but it's just like, how many times have you heard men say, you better not have no motherfucker around my kid?
Right. Because they don't want to see a woman love. See, here's the thing. Here's the deal, right? The bottom line is this. I've never seen my mama not loved.
Yeah.
I've never seen my mama not loved by a man.
Yeah. Okay.
She's been loved by a man for 43 years.
Your stepdad.
My stepdad. She has been loved by that man for. I told my mom this yesterday on the phone. I said, you know what? He could go out and cheat right now, and I find out, and I wouldn't even tell you. She said, why not? I said, that man raised me. He gave me a better life.
Yeah, I wouldn't tell on him either. Yeah.
I said, then why could I ever imagine? I said, that man provided, clothed, housed, and fed everybody in this house, including you. I said, that man, I said, if you left that man right now, I said, there's women lined up around the block to marry that man. I said, but everybody look at you like you crazy because they said that man stayed with that woman for 42 years and she left him.
So let me ask you something. You having a stepdad, did he ever have to whoop you?
You know what? My mom whooped me more than my stepdad did.
But he has whooped
He has whooped me, but he never had to. You know why? Because
you double talking me now. You say he has whooped me, but it never had. Did he whoop your ass?
No, that's what I'm saying. Listen, why? Let me break that down. What I mean, right? So when I say he whooped my ass, but he didn't have to, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times he did it because it was something that my mom was mad about.
Oh, she be like going there and whoop that boy ass
because she ain't gonna do it. It's his. He's the disciplinary.
Yeah.
He didn't want to do it, but for the sake of things, because it was my mom, he has to follow. Yeah. He's never gonna go against her in front of the kids.
Yeah, because he want the kids to be on one accord.
Right. So like as I got older, he said, yeah, man. He said, you know, I thought with your ass, I went in there, talked to your mom. I said, don't you ever tell me what that boy.
So let me ask you something. How old was you when you got your last ass whooping from him?
I was probably about 13.
Yeah, so you 13. Was old enough not to have no animosity. I remember when I first met my wife, I told her I believe in ass whoopings. But I believe that however old you are, that's how many licks you get on the butt with the belt, with your pants up. So she was like, nah. I was like, look, well, I ain't fucking with no bitch if I can't whoop her kids because
there you go.
You know, I'm just being real because I never forget, like I had took them out with me somewhere, and the oldest one at the time, day one, he was kind of like ADHD or some shit. Like he would take a long time. I tell him get a snack, and he would be in the store taking so goddamn long, he'll almost have a panic attack or some shit, or just can't choose, right? So I never forget. It was one time we was out there, we was doing something, and they have a habit when you pull up at the park. I always want to jump out the car. I had a stick. So he want to jump out the car as soon as I'm parking. It's like the car just stopped rolling. You know what I'm saying? I told him don't do it no more. And I turned around and I thumped him on his motherfucking forehead. And I know I thumped the shit out of him because I meant to thump the shit out of him. I thumped the shit out of that little motherfucker. And he light skinned and pow, he started crying. And when we got home, he ran up to her right in front of me. He thumped me on the head and she was like, what you thump him for? I said, he almost jumped out the car and the car still rolling. She was like, yeah, I know he like to do that all the time. I said, well, you should have been fucking fixed that before he even got to me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So she was like, well, it's a little mark. And I said, listen, let me tell you something. I'ma thump this motherfucker when he with me.
Head thumper.
It's not like I'm deboing. I'm
Yeah.
just telling the truth.
Yeah.
Because if that boy jump out the motherfucking car and get ran over or get hurt when he with me, you gonna feel like, why the fuck I ain't do a better job?
Right. Dude, all right. So my son, you met my son. Look, my son is 14.
Yeah.
All right. I have only put my hands on my son 2 times in his life.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. His mom, I said, hey, if you got a problem with him, call me.
Yeah.
Look, the last thing he want is for her to call me. Because if he mess up, you know what he say? You gonna call my dad.
So let me ask you something.
So
I know you ain't one of these niggas that say you don't want your baby mama to have a nigga, but has she ever had a nigga like live there with you and your son?
No, they never lived together,
together,
but they were, like back and forth.
How did you feel about that? And how did you feel about? Did your son like him, or did that feel any type of way to hear your son talk about liking another guy? I'm just asking you that dynamic.
Nah,
you haven't had a stepdad and you have a son.
No, it didn't make me feel any type of way. I like the dude.
He
was a cool dude or whatever.
Okay.
I think the biggest issue I had one day, my son came to my house and he said, yeah, Dad, we was over this house, right? And I was playing with the gun.
Oh, okay.
I said, just playing with a gun. Now I'm like, what the hell you got? You know what I'm saying? What's going on here?
Yeah.
So I called his mom, like, yo, he said he was playing with the gun, old boy house. She said, oh, nah, he got a game and they got the gun with it. He was playing the game like duck hunt.
Okay.
I said, oh, okay. I said, I almost blew out the handle for a minute because I'm thinking, dude, cool. You know what I'm saying? Me and him ain't had no problems. We see each other. I'm like, yo, what's up, man? What's up? Whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we ain't got no issues.
I've never had any problems with my wife's baby daddy. We've had one issue where and people say like act like I'm such a bad guy, but once he got out of prison, and this a shout out to my nigga Dave, because he got out, got married, got a great job.
Yeah.
It was just like nigga did like 10, 12 years in the feds and get out and get a fucking job and working. He the fucking supervisor at the Walmart distribution company making good money.
Yeah.
So he's always contributed. So I told him, look, just send your boys some money.
Yeah.
Like give it to them. So that way I looked at it like we ain't never had to buy no school clothes and no shit like that. Once he got out of prison, like I said, me and my wife, I was like, look, we're going to give them $400 a piece to buy their school clothes. That's sneakers and all. Because I don't believe in all that extra shit. And then when Christmas come around, we don't celebrate Christmas, but they celebrated Christmas before I met her. So it was like, I ain't going to take that from them. They done had that with their mama. So we don't put up all the trees and shit, but y'all going to get some bread, right?
Yeah.
So I remember when he first got his job and, got himself together, he would take them to buy them sneakers all the time. And it wasn't even all the time because I just nipped it in the bud like the second time they came back with some sneakers.
Yeah.
I didn't know he was really taking them to it was this place called Foot Action that had like older,
I remember Foot
like
Action.
older LeBrons and older Jordans and shit. So I always told him, if you get some Jordans, you're going to work for them. So they came home with some Jordans one time. And I was like, oh no, hell no. I called him. I'm like, yo, bro, nah, like don't buy they love. Like, don't try to buy they love. Be a man with them, go to the park, hoop with them, all that shit. Yeah. That's the only pair of sneakers, that you gonna buy, because you got to holler at me before you buy them some shit. Really, because you don't know if goddamn they fucking up in school. Yeah. You don't know, but we communicated like that.
Yeah.
You don't know if one of them motherfucking stole something, if they mama in trouble. So, when you come get them, you could take them, do whatever, but holler at me before you just buy them some shit.
Right.
So he was like, nah, man, these the rejects. I was like, I ain't know. I thought the nigga was
like, nah, these are clearance rack shoes.
Yeah. I was like, this nigga lying. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't know, because they was real Jordans and real fucking Jordans. But he was like, they came out maybe 3-4 years ago or some shit. So that was the only time I had to and he kind of joked. He was like, damn, big dog, because that's what he called me. Like, damn, big dog. He said, you ain't even gonna let me buy my son no sneakers. I said, no, man, that ain't it. It's just a situation where
it's gotta fit the budget.
Nah, it's got to fit what the fuck they doing in life.
Yeah, true.
But other than that, I was like, them boys ain't never got suspended from school. None of that shit. Davion got in a fight one time, and so I was just like, went to him and was like, hey, look, they getting up in age, they teenagers now. We ain't never asked you for no child support, but at this point, I need you to send your boys some bread each month.
Right.
Y'all work it out how much it's gonna be, but it needs to be enough where we ain't got to buy no goddamn football cleats. We ain't got to buy no goddamn video games. We ain't got to buy nothing no more. So by the time they was 13, 14, we never bought their school clothes or nothing because they dad sent them both $300 a piece a month.
Yeah.
He chose to do that. I thought that was a little extra. But hey, that's what he did.
I was different. So like for me, I went to go live with my dad. I started going to see my dad in Michigan when I was like 6 or 7 years old. My uncle used to take me up and I'd go and stay for the summer. So then when I was like 8, 9, I started catching the Greyhound by myself to go live with him. Bought my first pair of name brand shoes when I was like 9, 10 years old. Got a pair of Bo Jackson. This is why I went to go live with him.
Yeah, I remember them.
Went to go live with him, right? Got me a pair of Bo Jackson cross trainers because he was trying to like make up or whatever, right? So he bought me a pair of Bo Jackson cross trainers. I'm going to school in Flint, Michigan. Y'all know anybody from Michigan, Flint, y'all know. I go to school, walking to school to a city bus. Dude look at me and say, man, that's some nice shoes. I'm a country boy. I don't know. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm being all polite. Thank you. I didn't know he wanted to rob me for my shoes. He said, some nice shoes. I said, thank you. He said, now you either gonna roll with us or you gonna give up your shoes.
Basically, like join their gang or they gonna take your shoes. Okay.
You either gonna be folk or you gonna give up them goddamn shoes. Man, I don't know nothing about that shit. I pick up a stick. I start swinging them up. I'm swinging a stick. My grandma always told me, you getting some shit, pick up a stick. So I'm swinging the stick. I'm swinging, hit all of them.
Boy, you like to make me snot. If you're getting some shit, pick up a stick.
Hey, I took off running and everything, right? I ran back to the house and everything. My dad like, boy, what you doing? I said, trying to find me at the bus stop for my shoes. He said, well, goddamn. So he drive me to school. I get to school and everything. So in this school, you got to go through metal detectors and all this shit. They got the dogs. And this is in middle school, like elementary.
Yeah.
You got the dogs and shit like that. So I get into school and everything. Same dudes, I see him in school. Now I got to fight him in school. So I started getting a fight with one of them in school. Found out I got cousins at the school later on. So the next week when I come back to school after suspension, I'm in the cafeteria. One of his homeboys roll up on me. My cousin see me over there. Nah, you ain't gonna fuck my cousin. And we get into it over a pair of shoes. Over a pair of fucking shoes, dog. You know how crazy that shit was? But
so really you saying, because I'm trying to catch your point, because we talking about stepdad, you're saying your dad buying them shoes early got you in some shit.
Got me in some shit.
Okay, yeah.
It's going back to what you're saying, like about you never know the circumstances.
Exactly.
He trying to buy my love and my affection, so he gonna get me wherever I want. I had Parasuco jeans.
Yeah,
and shit.
Okay.
So he trying to buy my affection, but him buying my affection got me in some shit.
Wow. And that's how it normally is. Let's go to a couple of the comments real quick, and we're gonna get back to the discussion. Somebody said, I personally don't believe in whipping little girls. Me either, not at all. I really don't believe in hitting kids anyway. But as a boy, as a man, I got toughened up by my uncles, punch you in the chest, slap you in the chest like fucking Wahoo McDaniel when you walk by. So it's certain things that I think boys need a healthy fear of being in the presence of man and always being sharp. Somebody said, this is a great conversation that needs to be had. I don't like to whip my 4-year-old. Dom Ashton says stepdaddies be more supportive than real dads in most cases. A lot of guys are the bitty baby mama happy. You know what, man? I think it's a situation where if you love a woman, you love what comes with her. She just happened to have kids. Now, on the flip side, like we was talking earlier, I tell my sons I would rather them not date a woman with kids.
Yeah.
Not because of weakness, not because of anything else other than the fact of we don't even believe in discipline at all these days.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I just don't think that their generation can handle it.
Yeah. I got two things.
I'm not saying that it
Yeah.
can't be done. I just don't think their generation can handle co-parenting like that.
I'm gonna hit on something because the first person said, I don't whoop little girls. I'm gonna tell you something. I don't believe that men should discipline little girls. And I don't think that women should discipline little boys. Now, we know circumstances where you have the single mothers raising their kids. So you got to do something, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that women should be disciplining little boys because it creates a stigmatism.
And women will hit
Right.
a kid out of anger and not out of discipline.
Right. And they'll be a little boy more than what they would if they had a father in the house.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, I told you guys, my stepdad, he beat my ass a couple of times or whatever, right? But not as much as my mom did. Not as much as my mom did, because the smallest thing she'd get pissed off about.
Oh yeah, my mom was the same.
Right. So when it comes to my stepdad or even my father, if they said don't do this, I can't beat their ass. I know I can't beat their ass. If my mom would have raised me by herself, at some point in time, because I could be with the little girls on the playground, I'm gonna feel my mama's a little girl too.
Yeah.
You can't beat me after 13. After 13, I'm the same height I am now at 13.
Yeah.
My mom couldn't beat me.
I know one thing, man. I used to have to save the boys from their mother. I think Enzo say this all the time. Fathers, save your sons. It would be situations how women interact emotionally, and kids can test the boundaries. Like, say for example, I had a saying: you discipline rebellion, you instruct ignorance.
Right.
So when a kid is 3 years old and they throwing their food across the table, that might be, or 2, that might be too young. That's ignorance.
It is.
But if they do it at 6, they rebelling.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So my wife would say, y'all sit down or y'all clean your room. And she'll say the shit 10 times. And then all of a sudden lose it. Go in there and want to smack some. Man, leave them fucking boys alone.
Yeah.
Like, if you ain't going to go in there and stand over there, when I tell them to go clean their room, I go in there and stand in there. I show them how I want it clean, where to put the shit at.
Yeah.
These kids, she expect them to just know how to fucking clean it.
And that's the problem. The problem is women expect kids to know stuff at an early age. And a lot of parents, I ain't even going to say women, because there's some men out there that think the kids just supposed to know shit. I don't believe in putting your hands on the kid before the age of 6, unless it is something that could cause them to lose their life.
Like the outlet, or
like I was getting ready. That's exactly what I was getting ready to talk about. When they go to that outlet and you pop their hands and you say, no, don't. Kids understand.
Yeah.
Even at 3 and 4, they understand. They just can't respond back in the way that, we would. They understand, no, don't touch that. A lot of parents just say, no, but the kid don't know what the hell you popping for.
Another thing, being a stepdad, my sons will come on here and they will really be like, they always had my side.
Yeah.
And even now, like, it's not saying that they love me more than their mom, because they love their mama.
Yeah, we love it.
They love their mama. But them niggas know that any type of turmoil or any type of arguing or dysfunction or confusion in this house, it was their mama creating it. And we talk, it's funny to hear them talk with their mama now. Like, they be like, they don't know how I was able to deal with her.
Dude.
And people think that I'm this roughing guy. Like, I'm like, nah. Like, I'm just the type of nigga, I guess they've seen situations where they know in dealing with their girls and shit.
Yeah.
Once you put a woman in check, your bitch ain't gonna be happy with you. So they done seen her walking around with her lip poked out over shit, and they be like, damn.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this then. Have they ever said, hey man, if I was you, I would have left my mama a long time ago?
Of course.
I tell my mother this all the time when we have these topics. I say, you know what, mama? I said, if I was him, I would have left you a long time ago, because it'd be crazy shit, right? Like, he would go, she would say, hey, we need some new furniture.
Mm-hmm.
He'll say, we just got new furniture like last year. She's like, but we need some more. He's like, well, woman, we ain't got the money for it.
Yeah.
He go to work.
She go get that
Come
shit.
home the next day. Come home the afternoon. It's some new furniture.
Yeah.
And he pissed off. And he said, you know what, woman? He'll walk out the house. He just leave the house. Now we didn't have cell phones back then, so she don't know where the fuck he went, right?
Yeah.
He just leave the house. And then he would come back home. And when he come back or whatever, right? He was like, well, I guess I'll figure out how to make it up or whatever. He has his own janitorial service on the side.
Mm-hmm.
So now the money that he's using extra to take us on trips, to do this, like we get to go out to eat once a month because there's 5 kids in the house.
Yeah.
My mom, my grandmother, and him.
Damn, he took your grandma in too?
Yeah. Took care of my grandma. My grandma had her own place, and then she moved in with us for a while, and then she moved in with my aunt.
Yeah. So your stepdad was of the happy wife, happy life generation.
Yeah, but it was different because it was a happy wife and a happy husband, happy life situation.
Happy. What they say, happy mate, happy home, or some shit. I don't know.
Because she told him when he started dating her, he said, "Look, ain't no woman of mine gonna work." Now my stepdad's Muslim. Ain't no woman of mine gonna work. Because you need to take care of these kids. I got to see my mother every day I came home. I came home from school. Oh, I came home from school.
You beating the shit out of that table, right? Boy. Goddamn.
I came home from school and my mom is there.
Yeah.
The house smells like lemon pledge. My bedroom's nice and tight.
Fabuloso.
You know what I'm saying?
So look, we're gonna go to the ask a few questions, or matter of fact, we just gonna let anybody come in that want to speak on anything. I'm gonna just put this stream up. If you have been a stepfather or are a stepfather or a product of a stepfather, click on the link right there and you can come in and give your take on it. Yeah, man, I just remember my stepsons, and I always call them my sons. They understand the what I did for them. Yeah. Like, say for example, is Benefit. All my music is me and BJ and the videos, and that's day one best friend.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Him and Mike. So this is what's so funny to me, man. When they say a village, right?
Yeah.
I grew up, and like I said, Donald Moody had a father, and Chester Silver had a father. Those were 2 guys I was cool with.
Yeah.
These guys. Talking about stepdaddy, this is how I know this was spurned out of hatred for Black women and not wanting them to feel like they would have it. Hope. I probably lived 10 miles opposite direction of the school.
Yeah.
And either CJ's daddy or Donald's daddy was going to give me a ride home every night. And if they didn't feel like it, they just said, boy, come on home with me and you can wear one of my son. Yeah. It's just like these men did this for all children.
Yeah.
These men were the type of men, they had a fucking pickup truck. They worked. They were janitors. They were garbage men. One of them. But these men, all the men in my town were like, if they see you walking, they stop on the pickup truck, take you to practice, get you a Gatorade. It was just like men just kind of fuck with boys.
Yeah, because they were raised by men.
Yeah, so
like, I hate when people try to enter, like, say, well, the way we are is because of slavery. And I'm like, what happened between 1865 and 1965? A whole 100 years, and you saw Black families together. You saw Black men and Black women raising their kids, raising their children. So that's a whole 100 years that you're leaving out, that we had that whole unity. So my parents were born in the 60s. My dad was born in the 40s. He's an old nigga.
Yeah.
But my mom was born in 56. My stepdad was born in 54. So they were raised by another generation that understood that there was an importance for men. Like now we don't see an importance in men.
And see, that's the thing, that you're right. That importance of men became a duty calling to every man. It wasn't like somebody had to be fucking your mama or some, or knowing your grandma, your aunt. It's just like they like, hey, ain't you Clap Hayes boy? Get your ass from up here.
Yeah.
Or you Clap Hayes boy, come on over here, boy. I got some goddamn grass and some, want you to bust a couple of loads of wood or something, put some cash in your pocket. It was just like all men kind of just felt like they had an innate responsibility to the boys around them. Like, I'll never forget, and this is why I say it's different, and this is why I say I tell my sons, try their best to find one. My brother's fathers, right? My last name is Clark.
Yeah.
That's not my real last name.
That was my last name at one time.
Yeah, okay. My mom was married when she conceived me. So I'm a product of some cheating or some shit went on.
Yeah.
Long story short, my brother's father signed my birth certificate. He thought I was his at one point. Once my mom told him I wasn't his, he still fucked with me.
Yeah.
Like when he would come down and say, for example, take his kids school clothes shopping, he might spend $300-400 on him, but he'll spend like $150 on me. I just never forget when my sister's dad would come see my sister. My mom would always go out Friday night. So this nigga was almost like our babysitter. Now watch what I said about the difference in how women were. It has nothing to, say, for example, my mom could have a new boyfriend that lived with us. Her baby daddy, who's my sister's father, come down Friday night. This nigga bring everybody snacks and sit there and have some movies and watch VCR tapes with us. Her new nigga there, them niggas drinking beer together.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Them niggas drinking beer together. And then if I was out of line, my sister's father would be like, boy, I heard you did such and such.
Yeah.
Pop, pop, smack me up. It was just like the women didn't keep the men apart.
Look, I used to go with my older brother and sister sometimes out to their dad and their grandparents' house.
Yeah.
This ain't my grandparents.
Mhm.
This ain't my father and nobody like that. But I go out there with them and they would keep us.
And didn't treat you
They
differently.
didn't treat me no differently.
You remember that shit they had on Facebook not too long ago? I think it was a skit where the nigga bought the McDonald's for his kid and didn't bring him.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Man, I remember I got the twins have a different father. My mom got 6 kids by 4 men. So I remember their dad would not show up unless he had something for everybody.
Yeah.
I remember like being the kid whose daddy was never around. I remember that their brothers, my brothers and sisters' fathers would look out for all the kids so much that the kids would kind of be jealous or like mad in a way. Like my brothers would be like, if my daddy wouldn't have bought you this, we wouldn't have got this.
Yeah.
And that's one of the issues that I see with being the step. It makes the family separated in a house.
Yeah.
So that's one of the other issues, that it's a schism. It causes a schism between the kids. If the nigga don't bring no McDonald's for everybody, the kids that don't get none sad. But if the nigga brings some for everybody, just the kid, your mind says, shit, why I gotta share the shit my dad bought with everybody else?
Yeah.
So it's I don't think it's a good look for stepchildren and different last names in a house.
Yeah, sometimes
but it may have to be like that.
I think it depends on the dynamic of how that stepfather is treating all the kids, because he's the main one that's always there. It's like it's how those kids are being taught and how things are explained to kids, because we feel that kids are too young to know things, and that's wrong. We keep harbor secrets from kids to a certain age, till we feel they're ready. But kids need to know certain truths,
and they know,
and they already know,
because the siblings been already told. Like before my family broke the news to me that ain't your daddy. Oh, my brothers had heard that shit and already told me and was already fucking with me about it. The family act like they set me down.
Yeah.
Like, you know that ain't your daddy. I'm like, nigga, I've been getting tortured about this shit for weeks. This sister said some dope shit. She said, my daughter's dad is great when it comes to co-parenting. My current spouse kids go with my daughter when she spends the weekend. And it's kind of a situation. This is how I look at it. And I'll never forget, my brother's aunts treated me just like they treated them. The grandparents. Now, I'm the type of motherfucker, when I get older, I want to ask questions that I want to know.
Yeah.
And just for that love, like, why you show me so much love? And they just simply said, you my nephew's brother. They ain't looking at, they just like, you're my nephew's brother. I wouldn't want you to not be able to go with your brothers.
Yeah.
And they was like, no matter how much your brothers would act like this, they wanted their little brother with them.
Yeah.
So it's a situation where I don't understand how you separate the children when they ain't have a
Yeah.
motherfucking thing to do with it.
I think what happens, and you know, you asked me earlier, when did this conversation come about? You know, I thought about a song. Remember Life?
The movie Life?
No, the singer.
Oh, Life
She's
Genius. Yeah.
got kids.
Yeah, I remember that.
I think
remember
that's
that.
probably, like, if I think about it, that's where it first came from. But you know, here's the deal, right? And here's the cons to being a stepdad. See, we talked about all the pros and all the stepdads, and they're like, yeah, whatever, right? Here's the cons to that, right? Once the relationship, if the relationship dissolves and those kids go away, is the attachment still there? How long does the attachment still stay?
Yeah.
You
and
know?
see, that's a situation where, like I said, I think every man should love every woman that he wants to love if she got kids. I'm just saying,
Yeah,
I don't recommend it for the new generation.
that's what I'm saying. Because
however, I know it's highly likely.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
the
saying?
detachment in? Because here's the deal, right? Even with me, right, dealing with the woman that has kids, I have my own. So let's just say I start dating this woman. She got 1 or 2 kids. I'm obligated. I'm going to be obligated to help provide and take care of her kids.
Mm-hmm.
She's not going to be obligated to help take care and provide for my kids
Mm-hmm.
or whatever, right? Because I'm going to be financially there.
Yeah.
The money that I have right now is for my kid.
Mm-hmm.
So now I'm taking resources from my kid and providing for her kids.
Yeah.
Her kids now.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, once her kids are grown and they need help, who are they going to call?
They're going to call on you, motherfucker.
Right. Now, let me explain something to you. Now, I have never called my stepdad. My mom just realized this like a couple of months ago. She said, you don't never call Bill and ask him for anything. You ain't never did that. I said, because he owes me nothing.
He already got you right.
He provided for me all my life. So that man owes me nothing. I would never ask him, but I will ask you because you're my mother. You're the person who birthed me.
Let me say something. So, and this is not to counter your point, because I get your point. But I didn't have other kids. I totally get your point. Taking care of a woman, and you with a woman and you married to, and she got 2 kids, you can't stop for your kid like you want to. Because if you was by yourself and didn't have them kids, you could stack more for your kids. Me, I'm gonna tell you the difference in me. And this is crazy. Why? I guess I'm the type of nigga. I ain't never spent no fucking money on my stepsons. Because I didn't believe in Jordans. I didn't believe in sneakers. I was like, early on, as a man, I took them niggas to Ross and was like, look, you can get 4-5 pair of Ross shoes for $100, and you can have some style and some swagger. And they was athletes. So, you know, athletes, if you get them some Nike slides or something, it's like, when I look at it, like, as far as resources, honest to God, I paid the mortgage, I paid the bills in the house. Anything else that my sons ever got, and I guess I was lucky, like I said, once their father got himself together, once they became teenagers, he gave them $300 a month. And I was like, y'all save this money, because your daddy didn't told me he giving you $300 a month. You shouldn't ask me for a motherfucking thing, or your mama.
Well, let me help you out there. Let me help you out there. When my dad died, I'm getting a check for $2,000 a month.
Oh, okay. Bill came into I just stepped that name Bill.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that was coming to me because I emancipated myself at 13.
Okay, so
when I was 13, I emancipated myself, and my check started coming directly to me.
But you still lived at home.
But I moved out.
Okay.
I moved in with my granddad.
Okay.
Well, his father, his grandfather.
That'd need to be another show.
That's another story.
Like, how the fuck this nigga emancipate, and why? Yeah. And if you had a good dad and your mom, like, that's another. Go ahead.
That's another story for another day. But he never really had to buy us anything either. But the simple fact that if he wasn't there, would I have lived in the house that I lived in?
Probably not.
Would I have had the, same experience, life experience that I had? Would I have known how to even put a door up or hang shingles?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what would my skill set be?
Yeah.
How would I be as a man? Would I be a man, or would I be a man? Or would I be, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. Like, where would I be? Would I be in prison? Would I be dead? Who knows?
We got a good question.
What's that?
I saw this earlier, and I'm glad because I wanted to go back to it. Hey family, what's the best way for a single mother to discipline a 10-year-old boy without causing issues within him? You want to attack that first, or
I can go real quick.
Go ahead.
I taught my son's mother this quick, simple trick. Kids value their things more than they value anything. You give a child the option between the ass whooping and the video game, he gonna take the ass whooping.
Yeah.
Start taking the stuff and teach him a lesson in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I used to take my son's video games. I take his controller, right? And I take the rechargeable batteries out and I give him regular batteries. You can play it till the batteries run out. You can keep your phone till the battery die. He learned time management skills, and he's gonna limit himself on it. And once it's dead, it's dead. And he ain't getting it back for however long I take it away. And he loved that game more than life itself. So the next time he get out of line, he already know. I'm gonna lose my video game privileges. I'm gonna lose my cell phone. I'm gonna lose my laptop. Whatever you give these kids, these electronics, take stuff away. But when they do good, do stuff for them. Take them go-kart ride, especially women. Women don't do stuff for little boys that they should be doing, like going to ride go-karts,
park, go-kart,
paintballing,
yeah,
whatever it is, like any outdoor activity, especially paintballing and go-karting.
Yeah.
You start introducing them to that, and you say, well, look, your grades ain't good this week. Your grades went good this semester. We ain't doing none of this stuff until you pick those grades up.
So let me ask you this. So you just said something that's dope, and it's a great parenting skill. You know, being a former educator, you know, we didn't have to deal with so much shit in classes and blah, blah, blah. Your strategy is a cool strategy. And I give you a quick example. It's how much love is provided. Watch this. I was at this Walmart. No, I was at Sam's Club. And Sam's Club got good ass fucking pizza to me. And I was in line to get some pizza. No, I had got my pizza and I was sitting down to eat. And it was this little white boy beside his mother in the line. And he kept kicking the fucking table. She said, don't kick the table no more. He kicked it. She said, if you don't kick the table no more, you're going to get in trouble. He kicked it. The third time she kicked it, she said, sit down right here where he kicked the table at. He sat down. She kept going in line. Now, keep in mind, we in the line. She could see him. Man, by the time this little boy got about fucking 3 feet from his mom, I'm sorry, Mom. I won't ever kick it again. Please let me hold your hand. I was like, oh, shit. She done nurtured and provided so much love. And she is the apple of this little boy's eye, so much so that this little motherfucker had a man. She was like, you sure? You sure? Man, that little motherfucker cried. He got up when he got back to her. He said, Mom, can I hold your hand? She said, you can't hold my hand yet.
You got to earn it.
And this little motherfucker was standing there. He was just like, am I being good? Can I hold your hand? She said, you can hold my hand. She held his hand for like 30 seconds. That little motherfucker was so happy. I was like, damn, like you said, the things that they get, like the electronics, their toys, the rides. Mm-hmm. Also, you could take your love away from them. You could take your presence. You can ignore them. Now, it may be too late at 10.
You got to start early.
You got to start this early. You got to start this early.
I started when he was like 5 years old, and I started seeing how much he loved like the little electronics and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, you don't want to listen? I tell you what, sit here in silence.
Mm-hmm. Let me finish for her 10-year-old son, though. I would say, please don't try to hit him. Mm-hmm. At this point, don't try to hit him. Like he said, if he's into sports, if he's into electronics, if he is into STEM, sometimes discipline can be positive reinforcement. Like, hey, listen, you've been not behaving well. And sometimes kids feel like I've been misbehaving. I ain't got no hope. Fuck it. Let's keep fucking up.
Yeah.
Sometimes you could change the course of behavior by saying, hey, look, you give me a week and a half of doing well, I'm going to get you that little science kit that I know you want. You know what I'm saying? But at 10 years old, sister, I suggest the biggest thing you can do is get him to a man, a brother, a uncle, a cousin, karate. But I think just being trying to hit a kid that old, I don't think is a good thing.
Yeah, karate, a lot of parents neglect and they look past karate. If you start your kid at 5, 6 years of age in karate, they're going to learn how to defend themselves.
Yeah.
They're going to actually learn discipline, self-reliability, and confidence. That's one of the things that we miss. A lot of kids are missing right now is confidence and self-accountability and discipline. If your kid can't, you was an educator. I was in school for early childhood development. I was going to be an educator till I did my what's name. I said, fucking parents. Not the kids, but the parents. If your kid can't sit down by the time they hit 3rd grade, it's over. If they can't be still by the time they hit 3rd and 4th grade, it's over. Because once they get to 5th grade, they start suspending them.
Yeah. Check this out. We got a good comment right here. My man Maurice Green said, being a stepfather for the sake of getting vagina is weak.
Yeah, that's always.
I think that too.
I think it's weak when men can't just be honest. If they just want to get laid and they just don't be honest, like, look, I ain't trying to be your Mr. Forever. I'm just trying to be your Mr. Right Now.
But I think I wish he could explain that. If he could hit the link, I'm gonna post the link if he can come on. Because I get it, but I don't, because I can't see no man wifing no bitch just for no pussy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Because let's be real.
Because he could get the pussy and go with her and don't wife her.
Let's not think about in your world, right?
Oh yeah. We think
you can't think about in your world because a lot of dudes are not getting laid. I did not realize this until I started really looking at TikTok and listening to guys talk, and I see why they ain't.
Niggas ain't getting laid. This is the most the new generation of youth and our generation are the two most. I don't know how they fucking get these numbers. Most non-fucking, generation. But I think he means we got a super chat from my man Ilkan. I appreciate you, brother. Salute to my brother. Definitely want to watch you blow up on here and going to do my best to help you too. Your voice needs to be pushed more. I appreciate you.
What's going on? I seen the other day on
they killing the game post. Too.
Yeah.
I think, like I said, if it's just marrying a woman just because you want to go with her, or I think I get it. You know what I'm saying? Like, say for example, when I met my wife, I like my wife. She was very much into art. I'm into art. You know my wife. Yeah. You know I got probably one of the coolest wives. Jamal can call my wife and talk to my wife for hours with me not even around. You know what I'm saying? So it's a situation where I just thought she was cool. She was beautiful. She was sexy. My wife had a salon. She was a business owner. She taught me about business. I was instantly became a homeowner when we got married. You know, I'm sitting on not a couple of $100,000, but some good equity in the home. Yeah. Me and her got some property with my man George. My kids are grown. You mean our kids? Yeah. Only thing, and I'm gonna be honest, and this is some real shit. I'm gonna be 100% honest. The only thing that I ever got bogged down being a stepdad, and I think this is just because I smoked reefer, was fucking having to sit at them goddamn baseball games and sit at Davion's football games when he won't no good.
Hey man, but you gotta go because my stepdad showed up.
That's the shit.
He showed up when I was riding the pond. I was in guard and tackle. I sat at the end of the bench, guard the water ball, and tackle anybody tried to get it. And you know what? He was like, "Boy, that was a good way to guard that water bottle." You know?
Hey man, let me tell you something, bro. Now that's where I went when they was balling, and when he got about to the 11th grade, he started becoming shitty because he was just played corner, but he's small. And I just was like, man, this motherfucker stinking the field up, man. I can't take it. But he was a good cover corner. Yeah. He'll get a pick, but as far as the motherfucker tackle, oh man, he'll jump on the motherfucker bag. I would see touchdowns where he just didn't make the hit, didn't want no contact. And I just couldn't take that shit. And I'm being honest.
Hey, you know where I learned though? You know where I learned from my stepdad is I learned how to play my position. I learned how to play my position, and I knew how to become a good leader by following.
Mm-hmm.
And whenever we would get in there, like a football practice or whatever, right? Even though I wasn't playing, I'd be sad because I ain't playing
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. My stepdad said, "Boy, get in there with the team and huddle up." Or whatever, right? Because he said you a part of the team.
Yeah, you's bad.
He's like, you gotta support your teammates. You gotta be right there with your teammates, regardless if you're playing or not. You gotta support your teammates. And I learned that even if you're not playing, sometimes you can motivate others. And then once I started getting better, by the second or third year, I'm starting now. But now the person that's on the bench gotta learn to play their position.
They gotta learn to play their position.
Because their time's gonna come too. So that was one of the things that he didn't let me quit. He said, "Boy, you ain't quitting nothing." When my mom got to it and said, if they want to quit, you can let them quit, and she started letting us quit stuff, I see how it affected me long term.
Oh yeah, man. Side note, I'll never forget this. 1 year to put the youngest one in basketball. And this was like the 8-year-old basketball league.
Yeah.
And man, they double dribbling, they traveling to go low. And he was out there stinking that court up. And he wanted to quit too. He wanted to quit. And it was at the Y. And it was for some reason they didn't have a lot of teams in that league. And the games would be like in Fuquay, Raleigh, Cary. And I'm gonna be honest. That's when I'm just being honest. And I'm just being real. The times that I didn't like being a stepdad is when I had to take them boys to games and they weren't good. I'm just being real. Like, other than that, there was no like, oh my God, I can't buy this for myself. Because I'm like my granddaddy. I'm the type of nigga. My granddaddy was like, if you get a woman all the money and she know what's there, she ain't got nothing to fucking complain about. Because men ain't going and paying the light bill. Women do that shit. Men ain't buying groceries. So I'm the type of nigga, I would get paid. I put my whole fucking teaching check in my wife's bank account. Yeah. Old school. Now give me about $100 so I can get me a little read, a little beer, some shit. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, you keep all the money. I'm never worried about money. If I ask my wife for $500 or $100, I figure it should be there because I was handling shit and she was working too.
Did you ever take them camping?
No, I did none of that shit. We were straight sports.
Hold on, you ain't never take them camping?
Camping or fishing.
Fuck wrong with you, man? You a country boy.
No, seriously.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm being honest.
I know you are, and that's what I'm saying. You a country boy.
Never took them hunting either.
That's crazy. You a country boy.
Yeah, but you know what? And this is what I say about being a stepdad. And I say to my sons, I don't suggest it, but I don't think there's nothing wrong with it. By the time I had came into the picture with my wife from New York, these motherfuckers was saying they was allergic to grass. So the point being is they had already been so what's the word? Corrupted. Condition. Yeah, I don't want to say condition, corrupted condition. They had already been so conditioned by a woman to think that fishing and hunting and even riding a bike outside. Like once we bought them bikes and I took them out and showed them how to ride a bike. Yeah. Both of them tried to jump a wheelie the same day, got hurt. They never got on the fucking bike again.
Damn.
They was already soft, for lack of a better word. And there's no way to explain that other than just saying soft. Yeah. Like not want to be outside in the sun. So once I come into the picture, naturally I'm a man. What's the first thing you think I do? We basketball, football, frisbee, and all that shit. So they pick up on that. Yeah. And they like that. And now they got Madden and NBA 2K. So they love basketball, football, and baseball. Yeah. But when I say some shit like, let's go fishing, I'm gonna take y'all to the country, we can go hunting, with my little nephews, which were younger than them, shooting rifles, handling guns and shit. They like, no, we don't want to do that. And I ain't finna make no kid do nothing they don't want to do. Because I know I'm the type of nigga, I'm gonna get frustrated, goddamn it. If I take you hunting or fishing and I tell you to get the fish off the goddamn hook and you scared, I'm gonna get mad. I just know as a man how I am. So yeah, we never went fishing. We never went hunting, camping. Yeah. But it was just always sports. Always sports, just being honest.
I thought it was crazy. Like when I first the first time I ever invited you on the trip with me, and you was like, fuck kind of man goes on a trip with another man? And
yeah, I'm like, I don't do that.
And everything, like, it's so crazy because all my homeboys that didn't grow up with their dad or whatever, right? They always talk about, man, you always go back to your childhood. And I said, because my childhood is what created my future.
Yeah.
So when I was growing up, my dad, my stepdad, and my father, they would go on trips with their friends.
Yeah, the Vegas.
Yeah, but you know what was
See
so
the
crazy?
fight, shit like that.
Well, not just that though.
Movies.
Well, not just that though. Like, if they had kids, like my stepdad and the men in the neighborhood that had kids, they would go on camping trips and take the boys with them.
Yeah.
They would take us to Emerald Point. You know Emerald Point.
Yeah.
They'd take us to Emerald Point, stuff like that. They load the van and take all the boys in the neighborhood, even the single parent mama boys.
Yeah.
They get a 16-passenger van and they say, all right, we're going to take the boys. Just give us some money to get them in. We'll take care of the food and everything, right? And my mom and the women in the neighborhood, they pack the lunches and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And they send the boys on the way with the men to go to Emerald Point, go camping, go fishing, go do whatever.
Yeah.
And it was so crazy when I was like, yo, man, let's go on the trip. He's like, man, what kind of man ask another man to go on the trip with him?
Yeah, because I ain't never seen it. Like I said, and when I was growing up, you know, only thing I ever seen niggas is sit around and drink liquor when they get off work.
Yeah.
We ain't even know what no fucking vacation was. So I ain't never seen no men go on no fucking trip together. I never saw men, I never even seen men, because I'm from such a go sit. We ain't had no goddamn sports bars in my hometown. So like shit that niggas are asking me to do now when you meet them. Hey man, let's go have a drink and sit at the bar and watch the game.
Nah, we used to go to the liquor house.
I don't want to do that with you, nigga.
So
you know what I'm saying?
Young,
so
yeah.
you just, when you don't grow up, when you don't see male camaraderie, you don't know how it looked.
Yeah.
So I had a homeboy that I was cool with. We was real cool from college. And he was like, hey man, let's go catch a movie or something. This is like 20 years ago. I stopped being his friend. I was like, man, this nigga asked me to the movies. Did this nigga fish me? And like me and you, we was cool. And you was like, yo, man, you want to go on a trip? I already got everything paid for. All you got to do is get your flight. You asked me like 4 times.
Yeah.
I was
like, asked Brian, I be too.
Nah. Then finally I was like, you serious, man? And you was like, yeah. I was like, man, why? You was like, nigga, just camaraderie. I was in the military. Niggas do shit like that. I was like, okay, shit, we had fun. You know what I'm saying? So I don't have nothing against that now, you know, but like I said, not having a father, you're going to think everything is homo if somebody coming at you as a man coming at you with some shit that you ain't used to men doing. I don't want this battery to just suddenly go out. Is there anything you want to say about the situation before we wrap it up? Because you are the product of a stepdad, and you don't think, not saying you shouldn't be a. Go ahead.
So basically, this is what I'm gonna say, right? If you're going into a relationship with the woman with the child, and women, y'all should listen to this too if you have children. If that man's gonna be the provider for your kids, he's gonna be providing shelter, food, clothing, and everything else, taking them back and forth to games or whatever they're doing. You have to allow that man to raise that kid as if he's the one that impregnated you. You cannot deny that man the ability to father that kid, because now what you're doing is basically you just got him there to be a proxy dad for stability.
Yeah.
You're not there to really care about the kids. If you care about your children, you're going to allow that man to be a father. You're going to allow him to be there. If you're a man and your child is a product of a woman that's in a relationship with another man, you have to be man enough to have a conversation with that man and talk about how you're going to co-parent and discipline your kid.
Yeah.
You have to be man enough to do that.
You know what, Jamal? I think sometime, and this is a saying, the battery, that shit just did it. So I'm going to get a longer life battery. We know that bitch.
The battery in what?
It's in that camera.
Oh, shit. You ain't got the plug to plug it into a wall?
I did. I had it plugged in. For some reason,